Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Welcome to my BitChute YouTube simulcast together. This is Dr. Gaze101, also known as Charles. Guys, this is a video response to Boogie2988 on his thoughts on Pride Month. He uploaded this sometime around June 14th, so earlier today, as of today, obviously. And I currently the posts on my gaming channel, to those that are well aware, this is on my main channel as well as on my BitChute. Now I want to talk more about this matter with the thoughts of Pride Month that he's been talking in this video for 14 minutes. And Boogie298, he's right. We all have a right to our own pursuit of happiness and our own free will, our own preferences. But it's just that for the last few years, ever since when in New York City, or at least in New York State, that the matter, when the same-sex marriage bill was passed, everything was okay, hunky-dory, right? Where there were gays fighting for right to marry, like to have a man and woman in actual marriage. But over the years since then, it was pushing the envelope further and further, where it's like, I understand, like, hey, it's about free will, it's about willing to express yourself. I expressed myself too plenty of times on YouTube for how many years. Personally, myself, I'm a straight, black, Christian male, or at least a mixed religious, spiritual type of sense for the last couple of years with the religion that is. And because I've been back and forth between like being taught at a young age, brought up from the ground up about Christianity, denying it for a few years, and then go back into the last 3-4 years now, and to rekindle with my family members, whether it was my godfather, perhaps maybe soon to be my uncle. I don't know what's going on with him in a while, but eventually I'm trying to understand more about where I come from. And I was born in 1987, the last 4 or 5 years of the Soviet Union being still intact, during the last years of the Cold War. So why am I talking about this stuff right now in this weird approach? I'm not saying that to Boogie298 that I hate gays or I don't like the gays to express themselves, but I was taught a certain way. And usually there's a reason why homosexuality was considered taboo in society for centuries, as well as within the 1970s, it was considered to be actual mental illness. That's right, people. Back in the 1970s, the DSM, which is like like a mental health lexicon of sorts, to tell you about what's really out there as mental health. At that time, it was considered to be a worldwide, disease-like problem, flourishing back then, especially after the segregation between the blacks and the whites in the 1960s and 50s and earlier. So, to the point where it's like, where's the line between expressing yourself and when you go in towards the children, when you go in towards the people on the video game systems? Like, for example, I talked about on my gaming channel. To those that want to know where my gaming channel is, I said in that video about that Xbox turned to the gay box because it's Pride Month. Actually, I clarify more about that in the video, but I'm starting to see that over the years of being on Xbox Live. Yeah, sure, I can always leave the platform, right? There are always guys talking about homosexual acts and dicks and dick pics and stuff like that. We had stories on the news about that matter with adults going after kids in sexual manners. That's not good. But now it's starting to be like this moment where it's like, where's the line? We have to find some line between, like, okay, what can we show to the children? What can we show to teenagers or young adults? Well, young adults is one thing. Like, after 18, okay, you want to be gay, you want to be transgender, you want to go for surgery, that's up to you. I'm not into all that shit. I don't want to be in that shit. I just don't like the fact that you embrace yourself to others publicly on the internet, showing off these strip joints. Oh, well and good. There's gay bars for how many decades, right? But Hitler was against the gay bars and stuff like that. I'm not just like bringing up a horrendous man, but it's he actually stood his ground about some of these men that was considered to be gay, whatever. So, what I'm trying to say is that where does this come to a point where it's like, how much can we really expose to everyone at such a young age for them to grow up to be a little confused? And personally, myself, Do I have my problems understanding about women or about understanding about how to interact with women or whatever? I have my problems. I have my moments. And it's out there on the record too, what I said to certain women out there. And it's about what Michael Jackson said. Don't go to young girls and break their heart. What it should be done also is the fact that don't break guys' heart. And after a while, that happens. You cannot just let your emotions run wild out publicly, thinking that you're not gonna have no consequences of the matter. And this might give me flack to what I'm saying here, and that's fine. But to bring you to 98, I understand where you come from. You're from 1970s. You were born, so it was a different time. It was like around the height of the riots of the gay movement, stuff like that. So they were fighting for the rights to be equal. So you had to experience that too. You had exposure to that. Personally, myself, I didn't have much of that exposure. I didn't hear much about gay students or gay people in general. My mom did their, and my was my family did their best to keep me away from all that stuff because it's taboo. It's like, because if I expose myself to it at a young age, it may cause confusion on me. And that's sometimes the statistics show that can be the situation. But like, oh wait, Charles, then why are you saying that the 8-year-olds or 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds are going for sex education stuff like that? Yeah, there's heterosexuality that dominates the human race. Without heterosexuality, you're not gonna have no reproduction. You're not gonna have no flourishing in a flourished society. It's gonna be stagnant. And that's what's going on in Japan right now. Not to say they're all of them are gays or whatever, of course not. But I'm saying the fact that the growth rate of like making new people or new citizens is not there in Japan. It's getting worse and worse for the last 15 years, at least 10 years. And you can think the technology, the advancement of technology, that makes a big difference. Lack of wars, lack of aggression, lack of masculinity. So when you destroy the masculinity, when you destroy the man, when you destroy the heterosexual man, black or white, rich or poor, no matter how long you've been on this earth or whatever, you will actually experience what you experience to a point that it's affecting society at large. And I'm starting to see a change of that every year when Pride Month comes around. Last year in Pride Month, they showed a Blues Clues of a drag queen singing about the gays are marching, hoorah, hoorah. And this is a kid's show. We're talking about as young as like 5, 6, 7 years old, perhaps even 4, 3 years old, toddler age. And that surprised me. It surprised guys like Thomas Sotomayor. It made me surprise even Dave Rubin. Thomas Sotomayor is a commentator on YouTube, the Black Manosphere, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why people call him that, but he's just telling the truth. And there's also Dave Rubin, who is gay himself. I'm sure he has problems with that too, because he's considered to be a conservative gay of sorts. So on the conservative side, I kind of say where they come from. But in the middle ground, like where I'm standing right now as a moderate independent in the political spectrum, I gotta see from both sides. I see that we can't expose everything to the kids at such a young age to those who are like concerned out there. Like you can't just show them penises of like 12-inch dongs and saying that, oh, let's put a condom on it and stuff like that. And they're like 10 years old, not even 15 yet. Like okay, maybe when they're 16, 17, definitely we can teach sex education, or at least have like a consent form for each student. That each student goes to their parents saying that, oh, my school wants me to teach sex education. Can I see about the class? And the parents approve and write in, so be it, right? They could mention the gay agenda, whatever, so be it. But if you go into like 12 and earlier, like you're going down that line of like lowering the age, it's going to create a little bit of a havoc among the society at large. It might cause another war. That's the main reasons of why war started, because of lack of resources, lack of flourishing in the country. That's what happened during the 1930s and Great Depression. Now, of course, there was no big gay agenda or whatever shown at the time, but it's like when there's less resources, when there's more people that as before with no jobs, no ability to make their own worth, their own work, and to sustain a secure, tight location in the matter, or secure, tight position in society. No matter how low it is or how high it is, you don't want that to be taken away from you. So if it's like applied to economics, also applied to sociology, social issues at least that. So, and me personally, you might wonder to yourself, wait, from earlier when I talked about the Xbox Live, I've been on Xbox Live since 2008 of March. And the first couple years was all right, no big deal, right? But I'm starting to see more and more, straight white males or straight males, black or white, Indian, Pakistani, doesn't matter. To some extent, they act like a little bit sassy. And I admit, I might have those effeminate traits, but that's the laws of being in the astrology, being a Virgo. Virgos tend to have effeminate properties, but that's natural, or at least that's what I was teaching myself studying astrology. Sounds all trivial bullshit, it's like who cares, right? But it kind of makes you wonder, like our events, the ways we grew up in different parts of time, changes. And I'm still going through that change in a matter where it's like, okay, the gays finally got their gay marriage, good. But now they start pushing that, embracing publicly to kids. Now I got a problem. Because when I was a kid, I never exposed myself, or I was not even exposed to sexual innuendos or sexual promiscuity, stuff like that. I was more of a Christian guy, kid at best, playing Pokemon, playing my video games. Oh, sure, there's violence in video games. There's that Grand Theft Auto, there's that Mortal Kombat. We had that stuff back in the 90s. But do I have problems acting out sometimes? Yes. I will greatly admit that. But not like that. I don't remember anything like that. I didn't even think about homosexuality or the practice of homosexuality until 3 years into the Xbox Live. And you keep saying to yourself, Charles, why Xbox Live? Because Xbox Live has voice chat. There's always someone in the gaming lobby that are talking. They'll say, suck my dick, or you're gay, you're a fag. Oh, I'm going to teabag you. I'm going to have sex with you. And that's what happened to my friend Painkiller. If he's watching this, Painkiller went through a lot on Xbox Live in both all types of situations because he spoke truth about what was transpiring that's going on today. The New World Order, polygamy. That's where our first conversation, when I first met Painkiller, as one example, I talked to him about like there are people who do polygamous acts. And, he was against that, and I was like, I can't change that. That's like a centuries upon centuries old thing, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying I like polygamy. I mean, it's nice to maintain order though, because if you see the family the way they are in the Mormons and stuff, or like Mitt Romney, so I think that the Mormons practice polygamy at one point. So you see their families are in order, they're calm, they're like very consistent with their behavior. Like, it's not erratic or whatever. It's because there's more people into the family seeing these children in a protective manner. Like, polygamy is like opposite of gays in a sense, in a certain way. It's kind of weird. I can't explain the person myself. I never tried to practice polygamy, but the dynamics really do cause a lot of betterments from what I read and researched and see observations of, based on what ABC News was saying, based upon. I know it sounds like BBC News. Back then, they were talking some good stuff about the news. Now it's all garbage. But my point is, getting back on track with the LGBT thing, on the Pride Month, I don't mind Pride Month. I don't mind the homosexuals having their day, like we have blacks during Black History Month, right? But we don't, well, this is what, from my perspective, we don't shove our pro-blackness in the black community or pro-blackness in the Black History Month just because of the fact that we overcame slavery or we overcame segregation or discrimination in the workplace, stuff like that, and all well and good, right? But we don't. From my perspective, I don't remember putting myself out there too much, and then thinking that nothing's going to happen. In the matter of fact, with the LGBTQ, it's just I don't know, man. I mean. I'm not saying, like I said, I don't hate gays. I'm not saying I hate gays or whatever, but it's to the point where it's like, and I do have a couple of gay friends in my lifetime. I met them at the hospital. We exchanged phone numbers. We hanged out a couple of times, and I still contact with the guy over in Hollis, Queens. If he's out there watching this, that is. So I might have to give him a call, whatever. I did try to contact him during New Year's Day, say Happy New Year to him. So. But it's just that where I come from, it's iffy. Like you see me putting my shit out there totally out there. Like, I don't put all my personal information out there publicly. And of course, the internet, anyone can breach the system, anyone can see what you do or whatever. But, you know, it's like, you know, what to do. Like, what to do about that situation. Like, like people like to invade other people's personal property or privacy or territories. And that's what it comes down to wars happening. It's going to be polar opposites. It's going to be like a gay versus straight, black versus white. I mean, at one point it was like that back in the past. And now it's starting to reinitiate the matter. I don't want that to happen. But I just don't like the fact that just putting out there to these straight males, and they're supposed to be straight males, saying gay shit or gay stuff in general, like gay reference jokes. Yes, I understand we all say to each other like, "Oh, you're a gay and fags," or like, "What's so different about it right now?" Well, it started to like, or you started to say heterosexual males are saying to me, "I want to have sex with you," because I said something to them back a year ago, 2 years ago. They used that against me. That's why I'm trying to tell them, like, in general speaking, like, you know, don't act a certain way if you don't want to be portrayed that certain way. You know, if you don't want to be seen that certain way. And it's just something that I just can't understand fully yet. I'm still every day, every time when Gay Pride Month comes around for the last couple of years now, I'm like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You know, every month of every year, not every month of every June of every year, it is this Pride Month. It's going to be a big thing. It's going to be more flourishing. It's going to be more big and impactful, like the Black History Month and all. But that's Black History. We're not talking about Black Pride or whatever. But still, it's like I just can't see the correlation between each other. But then again, we fought for our rights. We fought for our freedoms. We fought for our willingness to live with each other in the same area, even though we're still segregated, quote unquote. You know, because you know, not everyone's going to live with everyone. Not every different culture is going to stay in one spot for long periods of time because it's a friction of culture of information, culture of values, stuff like that being frictionized among the groups of each group. So can we all get along? Can we say why can't we be friends? Like the song will say, why can't we be friends? You know, it's a never-ending process, my friends. And I do apologize to those out there on Xbox Live to where they may be concerned. I shouldn't say apologize, really, but I apologize for acting out to you in an angrily manner. But you know but you do know how I act. I don't portray myself online as some sissy, emasculated male on Xbox Live because I'm not that type of guy. And you should know better than to with certain people. You don't act to anyone, everyone, on all your personal matters online. You just can't do that. I mean, you can, but in the end, what if something happens when you become a big shot millionaire or a big shot businessman, or you have something going on in your life that's very public and very forthright and very understanding? Now, all of a sudden, people want to take you down. Now, all of a sudden, people want to get rid of you and get rid of your business or get rid of that, cancel you left and right, like with Dave Chappelle. Because he made gay jokes or whatever over the years. He made gay jokes since the 2000s. Where were the gays? Explain that to the public about the gay jokes that Dave Chappelle made back in the 2000s. Oh, sure, some of them were only like babies or teenagers, but still, you had a voice. I had a voice back. I had some kind of voice when I was in my teens, but I didn't say much because I'm still learning back then. I was still keeping my mouth shut, listening to others, and then at times I speak. That's my mantra. That's what I always do, and you can tell right now. So I've been going on for about 15 minutes, right, guys? And yeah, almost 20 minutes actually. I thank you, Boogie298, for displaying and also making this video, making that video of yours, and me helping encourage me to make my own video. I've been following you since as early as 2013, give or take, 2014, when you broke your Connect live, not live on the video. You were like, do you see what I see? Boom, boom, boom. I can't believe you broke your own $150 Connect. I can't believe it. That's your legacy right there. So, yeah, Boogie, I've been following you. I put you on my main channel as the God of the gods of warlords of games, anime, whatever, along with Merc and Shokyo and stuff like that. So, you know, that was an old thing I did back then. I don't want to change it. I don't think don't know how to change it after so many years. The format of the YouTube Studio has changed for us users, and I still make this to this day after all these years, even though I'm not making much, coverage or exposure in the matter. people still watch me. So yeah. All right, guys, please thumbs up, subscribe and share, donate to my Patreon. Everything's down below in the description box. I might post a couple of articles about what the Gates went through, or whatever, and I respect them for what they've been through. But don't act like that, like putting stuff to the children or to these gamers on Xbox Live or PlayStation Network or any gaming internet service. Because I was new to the gaming internet service when I was 20 years old. Before then I was playing by myself, so it was a different atmosphere. So now kids are being more exposed to the matter. But I'm still learning. These kids are still learning. But let's take it one day at a time, guys. All right. I'll see you around. Bye.